Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone, and thanks for being here. As you read from the lab description, today we are going to talk about automatic image labeling using the CLARIFAI API. First of all, I introduce myself. I'm a communication designer at Politecnico di Milano, specialized in data visualization and information design. And I'm here as part of the density design lab. With me, there are also Matteo, but now, as you can see, he's sleeping, and Andrea. So today we are going to follow this schedule. There will be a small introduction about analyzing a set of images and how to visualize them. And then I'm going to introduce CLARIFAI to you. We will do a little guided tour through the CLARIFAI image tagging tool interface so that you can replicate all these steps in the future by following the slides we provide to you. And the second part of this lesson will be finally a step-by-step tutorial in which we will use the CLARIFAI output dataset with the already tagged images to produce a Gephi image label-based network. Let's start. When we work with a collection of images, first of all, we have to choose what kind of analysis we want to carry out. We can choose, for example, to analyze images by formal similarity, as you can see in this visualization. In this case, we take into account the visual aspect of the images, such as the color, the saturation, the hue, etc. Or we can decide to analyze images by content similarity. In this other case, we want to cluster the images by the subject depicted in them, such as, for example, a tree, or a sea, cat, dog, etc. And this is what we will try to do together with the CLARIFAI. Or finally, we can choose to analyze our images by topic similarity. In this case, the images are clusterized and organized by the hashtag they circulate within social media. There are also three main ways of visualize a collection of images. In a stack, for example, in this case, we have to overlay the images one on the top of the other by multiplying their opacity. Or within a grid, organized by two axes, like a scatter plot visualization, or sorted by some other criteria. Like in this visualization, for example, the images are organized by their timestamps. Or finally, in a network, there are two main type of networks. A network image hashtag based, in which images are organized by their belonging to a group of hashtag, or the network image label based, in which the images are organized by their content, the content they shown, and clustered by macro concept manually. So today we're going to do a content analysis with the help of CLARIFAI to recognize and analyze the object depicted into each of our images in our datasets. And after we will visualize them with Gephi. What CLARIFAI allows us to do? CLARIFAI help us to visualize images according to their content, according to how their content is classified by a machine learning algorithm. To do this, CLARIFAI takes a list of images in form of URLs and outputs another list of images with the addition of two columns. One for the concept and one for the confidence. I will explain what this two column means in the next slide. But first of all, you don't have to do all these steps I'm showing to you because I've already done for our next exercise. But you can just follow these slides with me and try to do the same CLARIFAI process with your own data sets if you need to do during the sprint. But what we need to automatically tag the content of a set of images. We need, first of all, of course, the CLARIFAI image tagging tool interface. We need a CSV with our images URLs and an API key created on CLARIFAI. This is the image tagging tool interface. And as you can see, there is one box for the API key and one in which we have to drag and drop our CSV with URLs. Usually, to tag a set of general images, the best model to choose is the general one. But there are other specific models, such as, for example, celebrity or color or food. It depends on the set of images you need to analyze. Okay, our CSV will contain a list of URLs with just an header called URLs. The image tagging tool interface always requires a CSV and not an Excel file, so we have to download it as comma-separated values. And next, we need our API key. To create our API key, we have to go on clarifai.com and sign up. Once done this, inside our profile, we can create a new application. For example, I've called it, I've created a new one and called it data sprint test. By clicking on it, we can find finally our API key to run the image tagging tool interface. We can copy and paste it inside the box clarifai API key, and after drag and drop our CSV. When we have attached all these requirements, we can run the models, and CLARIFAI will process our input file. When the process ends, you can download the file and open it in a new spreadsheet. As we can see, CLARIFAI added to our previous spreadsheet two new columns, one for concept and one for confidence. The concept represents the object or the theme that CLARIFAI has found into the images. For example, airplane, sky, cloud, airport. And the confidence, the column called confidence represents the confidence of having detected that concept within our images. We can explore our new data set and add also a new column with the name of the images we have downloaded, for example, from down the mall. But the time has come and we can start our next step-by-step exercise. In this slide, you will find the link to the folder containing all the materials for our tutorial. So please open it and first of all, download the image folder. Today we're going to do a super magic network using Gephi and Image Preview. Image Preview is a Gephi plugin that allows to upload images into the network and visualize them in the preview section of Gephi. To do this, we need a dataset. In this case, our dataset downloaded from CLARIFAI with the images labeled, and a folder of images, our folder of images inside our main folder exercise. Have you all downloaded the images folder? Okay, this is a little spoiler of our final output, but we can start with the first step. First of all, remember always to check that the names of the images in your folder are the same of the name in the images column of the spreadsheet. In this case, we have already checked this, but it is an important step to take because otherwise Gephi will not recognize the path of the images to visualize in the preview section. We need also a network. We have sent the spreadsheet, the link of the spreadsheet into the chat. Please open it. Because we have to build our network with table2net. But to do this, we need to export our file, our spreadsheet, as comma-separated values. So in the spreadsheet, go to File menu, and in the drop-down, select Download as CSV. Okay. Now we can open Table2Net. And in this interface, we have to choose our CSV, called second CLARIFAI. Choose for upload. And now we have to set our type of network. We want to choose a bipartite with two types of nodes. In this case, we have the images and the concept. And we want to see how these two nodes are linked one with each other. In fact, as the first type of nodes, we have to choose images. And as the second type of nodes, we have to choose concept. I can repeat this process. So inside the Table2Net interface, we have to choose our CSV, called second CLARIFAI CSV, and set the type of network we want to see. In this case, we want a bipartite network with two nodes, one for the images and one for the concept. And we want to choose images as the first type of nodes and concept as the second type of nodes. Finally, we can download the file and rename it if you want. I suggest you to rename always the file because Table2Net will export always a network called network 1, 2, 3, 4. And so it's probably that you can lose your file inside your PC. Now, first of import our network inside Gephi, we have to install the image preview plugin. I have already installed it, but I'll show you how to do this step. So open Gephi. And on the top of the page, you have to go to Tools menu. In the drop down, you have to choose Plugin, and Gephi will open an overlay. Inside this overlay, there are 5 sections. We have to search the image preview plugin inside the available plugin section in this bar. So in available plugin, you have to search image preview and select install. Once done this, you have to close Gephi and restart it. Okay, now we are ready to do our network. We can select Open Graph File and select our output file from Table2Net, our network, and open it. We have to choose Undirect as graph type, and we can choose if append the graph to an existing workspace or to a new workspace. It's the same. In this case, I will add to a new workspace. Are you all here? If you are all here, please write okay in the chat. Okay. A quick overview of Gephi. There are 3 main sections we will be working in. The first is called Overview, and is where we will initially edit our graph. In this section, we need 2 windows, the appearance one and the layout. If you don't have them visible, you can go to on the top of the screen in the Windows menu and select them in drop-down. The second section is the data laboratory, and is where we will practically work with our data sets. It is divided into tables, one for the nodes and one for the edges. And the last section is the preview one. In this section, we need a preview setting windows. Also, in this case, if you don't show it, doesn't show it, you can go to the Windows menu on the top of the page and select preview setting. Okay, if you are all here, we can start working on the graph because now we see only a black box. So return to overview. And to specialize our network, we need to choose in the layout windows on the bottom of the page, the Force Atlas 2 in drop down and run it. When it finishes, you can stop it. And always in the layout windows, under the voice, you can scroll down, and under the voice behavior alternatives, there is an option called prevent overlap. We have to flag it and rerun the model. And stop it when finished. In this way, our nodes will be distributed in space without overlapping one of each other. Now we can try to fix better and beautify a little bit our network in order also to better read it. To do this, in the appearance windows on the left of the screen, we can select nodes and the color palette icon and partition. Now we want to divide visually our nodes by concept and images. So we have to choose in the drop down the type and apply to the graph. Now, as we can see, we have two types of colors for the nodes. The green are the ones we will replace after with the images, and the pink are the concept depicted inside images by CLARIFAI. Are we all here? I don't see the chat. Okay. We can work also on the sides of our nodes with the degree, which is a mode that allows us to proportionally enlarge and shrink nodes according to the amount of their connection with other nodes. To do this, we can select nodes and the icon near the color palette, which is the size icon, ranking, and shows degree. And apply it. We can use 20 for the min size and 18 for the max size. This way we can see better the difference between the smaller one, the small one and the big one. Remember that if you don't apply, you couldn't see the changes in Gephi. Now, as you can see, all the nodes are overlapping. So we need to respecialize them. And to do this, we have to rerun the Force Atlas 2 layout. But now they are all too close together anyway, so we need to adjust the scaling and bring up to 25. To adjust the scaling, we have to go in the layout windows, and after under the voice tuning, there is an option scaling. We can write 25 and rerun it. Okay, are you all here? Okay. Now we want to add the images. And to do this, we have to go in Data Laboratory and create a new column called Image. It's really important that the spelling is like this because Gephi is case sensitive and will not recognize the path if the spelling is wrong. So add a new column, use image as title, and choose string as type. And click OK. Now we have to copy data from label to image. In this way, Gephi will recognize the name of the images you have to show inside the preview section when we run the image preview plugin. Okay, I can repeat this step. So add column. So in Data Laboratory, select Nodes, Data Table, add column, use image as title, and string as type, and click OK. Now we have to copy data to other column, which is the fifth button from the left. Copy data to label, from label to image, and click OK. Now we can go in the preview section to see our graph and click to refresh. Do you all manage to see our graph on the preview section? Okay. Now we have to give Gephi the path to the folder in which to find the images to display. So in this Windows preview settings, scroll down, and under the section Node Images, we have an option, Render Nodes as Images. We have to flag it. And write the path of the folder in which you have your images saved. For me, for example, the folder is CLARIFAI plus Gephi. For the Mac users, we can go inside the folder, select one image, get info, and copy and paste the path into the Gephi overlay and click OK. To see our images, we have to refresh, as always, our preview. Okay, now the green nodes are replaced with all our images. Are you all here? Thank you, Odsbush. Okay, now we want to show, of course, the label of the concept depicted inside our images. So we have to go to overview. In the right panel, filters, if you don't have this panel, you can go to Windows on the top of the screen and select filters in the drop-down. In these windows, you have to select attributes, partition, and drag and drop the type node inside our queries. I repeat this step. So in the filters menu, we have to choose attributes, partition, and drag and drop type node inside queries. We want to hide the label of the images. We want to see only the label of the concept. So we have to filter by images in the partition type setting and run it. This is useful because now in data laboratory, we have only the image string and we can select all, right click, edit all nodes, and in these edit windows that will appear on your screen, under the voice various nodes properties, we have to unflag the option label visible. We can return to overview and stop the filter. I have to repeat this step, or all of you managed to do this? Okay. Now to show our label in the preview section and in the preview setting windows, we have to flag under the voice node labels the option show labels. and refresh it. Okay. As you can see, there are some labels bigger than one, and this is because probably these are the concepts more depicted inside our images. No person, our thoughts, nature, desktop, portrait, people, travel, and sky. And we can see this difference between label sides because we have flagged proportional sides inside the notes label section. If we unflagged it, all the labels will have the same sides. We can play with the sides of the labels in the font option, selecting the 3 dots and adjusting it. For example, now they are 12 and they are too small. You can bring up to 24, for example, and refresh. But I think that in this case, the information of the proportional size is useful to us because we can read that there are some concepts more important than other, more present than other in our data sets. Now the label are too big, so I return to font option and select the font size 8 and refresh it. Okay. Are you all here? Paulina, you have suggested to use the Comic Sans, and I will follow you with Comic Sans. Okay. Refresh. Okay, I think now it's really beautiful. We can also, in this case, we also can hide the edges because they don't say nothing to us. And so we can, under the voice edges, unflag the show edges and refresh it. I can bring out a little bit our font size. Okay. Wow. We can also hide the green nodes under our images. And to do this, we can return to overview. And in nodes, color palette, icon, partition. We can click on the color between near the concept, near the images, and choose the white color and apply it. Now we can go back to the preview. And in the preview setting windows, under the voice nodes, we can write 0 for the border width. And try to refresh and see what happens. Okay, now we have only the images and the green nodes are disappeared. We can also decide to hide the pink one, the pink nodes, and keep only the label of the concept. And we have to do the same process. So in nodes, in overview section, nodes, color palette, partition, and near the concept, we can change the color to white and apply it. And refresh in the preview section.
Antonella, may I ask why, in this case, with this network, I can hide the notes and leave only the labels? And also why I can hide the edges? Why are you hiding the notes in this case and leaving only the labels, the big text?
Because for our final output, we have to read in the network the labels, the text of the labels, and the notes, the color of the notes probably will confuse us when reading the network. So it's better to have only the text, only the label, without the color of the notes. Okay. Now we want to export this network and do some other magic with Illustrator. But my tutorials will end with the exporting file from Gephi, not with Illustrator. So in the preview section, inside the preview setting windows, we have to click on the bottom, on the on the bottom of the page, export svg/pdf png, and we can decide to export this network as svg, and Gephi will maintain the layer of the network. So probably to work with Illustrator is better to export the SVG, but if we want to see the preview of our network, we can export also with PDF or PNG. Maybe PDF is the better choice. Rename it as network comic sans .pdf. Choose your folder. I will save inside my exercise folder and save it. I have lost my file, but I will search in my computer, CLARIFAI, network Comic Sans. And this is our beautiful network. I don't know if we can resize a little bit, Andrea, I am asking you an help, the images, because they are too big. Maybe we can do it in overview and in nodes, sides, we can bring up the min and the max size. For example, 16 to 100. Apply it. Remember to apply all your changes. And rerun the prevent overlap. And we can also adjust the scaling in the layout windows and bring it up to 40, for example. Or 17. Okay, now it's better. Okay. Come back to preview and refresh. Okay, now the image seems to me bigger. We can try to re-export the graph. Mm-hmm. And save. No. Gephi crashed. Si può dire crashed? Crashed. My Gephi is died. But it's not a problem. We have the other visualization exported. Network. I want to explore with you our network. For example, here in the tree cluster, we have all the images with some green, for example. So CLARIFAI recognize the tree and assign to the images the label tree. Or travel, and we have, for example, the airplane images. Okay. Or other cluster, nature, desktop, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, two people are kissing. Are we in food? I think, yeah, we have only images with food. For example, burgers, cats. They are considered food. And yeah.
This dataset is very neutral because yes, it will be available later, Daniel. Oh, I can also send a link to the presentation right now in the chat. But what I was saying is that this dataset is very neutral. So we can, of course, we're exploring the network now, and we're seeing that CLARIFAI actually works. So the machine learning is working. So it identifies trees as trees and stuff like that. But since the dataset is not very, controversial, maybe it's not super interesting. But what I wanted to highlight, for example, as Antonella is showing, that here we have all recurrent words that are the same semantic meaning. So flying, flight, and very near to this cluster, there is the travel. the travel cluster. So also the being near to cluster, being near is an information. And Elena is asking a question. Yes, you can, Elena.
Great. Yes, I have. Would you please show the spreadsheet to everyone, because then it's maybe easier to explain what I mean. So the CLARIFAI assigns the labels or the tags to each of the images, and the output of the spreadsheet is the same image per row. So and the tag is
Yes.
singular for each row. Is there some spreadsheet trick to put all the tags corresponding with image 1 in one row? Or I'm sorry,
Yes.
in one cell. In one cell.
Yes, in one cell.
Yes.
Yes, you can do it, for example, maybe concatenating them and separating them by a comma, because eventually you want them to be separated, of course.
Yes, yes, yes.
Maybe with concatenate, Antonella can show us while I speak. In Italian, it's concatena. I don't know in I'm looking in the web how it is in English.
Yeah, it is concatenate, yes.
Concatenate, perfect. So concatenate. Because there is a command that actually splits the cells while they are in one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so with concat and comma separate, yes. So I guess concat will work. We actually, when we do this kind of stuff, we use OpenRefine with datasets, because it's easier for making stuff like that. But I guess with concatenate, you can do that if it's needed for what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And to apply it to every image, because the copy and paste will probably not work, because you will need to specify which image corresponds with which number of labels.
Yes, I guess you can do like include an if and say that the image is, if the image is 0001, then that.
Okay.
Yes, I guess you can do that. Exactly. Thank you, Deborah, and Mon for helping in the chat. Yes, I guess that would be the easiest way to do that.
Concat.
Spreadsheet. Concat and if. You're welcome, Elena.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Maybe other curiosities?
Also with a vertical lookup.
Also with a vertical lookup, we can do that, yes. Yes, there are a lot of ways to arrive to the same result with Excel. What were we doing? Exploring the...
Yeah, we have for 30 minutes, but we have finished yet. Have you summed up on CLARIFAI, the part of CLARIFAI?
I'm sorry, I remembered another question about the CLARIFAI. 2 months ago, I was trying to use the celebrity module, and for some reason, it was somehow glitched. Was it me or was it CLARIFAI? Because I had no output on a data set with clearly many celebrities in it.
Do you want to share the screen with us so we can try to fix your problem?
Well, the data set is on the other computer, so
okay.
Yeah, so it's not here. But I was just curious. If you probably use it more often than I do, and
Yes, sometimes, I mean, we eventually have a lot of problems with CLARIFAI. So it is a safe space to say that CLARIFAI sometimes doesn't work. Yes, it does. For us, for example, the API sometimes the API key does not work, and sometimes, yes, it happens that it glitches and gives no output. What we do to troubleshoot this is, for example, we create a lot of new applications every time and run CLARIFAI again.
I see. Okay, so
So it's not actually a solution. It's just a patch on
one
the
can
problem.
do a trial and error process. Okay, I see. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you.
But you have tried with our spreadsheet first. I will send the link in the chat. You can try to.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
About CLARIFAI versus the Google tool Jason presented earlier. Is there any? How are they different? Can you give us an idea of how are they different? Are there any advantages to use one over the other to try to find elements and themes in the files?
First of all, I think that the machine learning algorithms they use are different. And so this is the biggest difference between Google API Vision and the CLARIFAI model. And I admit that I never have used the Google API before today with JSON. I've always used CLARIFAI API. Another difference is that Elena highlighted. So the spreadsheet of CLARIFAI, the output spreadsheet of CLARIFAI, have one concept for the images, and you repeat the concept for each string. While for JSON in the Google API, there was one string for the images and all the concept one near the others inside the cell.
Okay.
But I think that the biggest difference is the algorithm they work with.
What sometimes we did in order to understand, not in this case because we never use Google Vision, but I guess there are a lot of on the web forums or stuff like that that explain actually the difference. But what we did, for example, with I don't know how to call it, the EBM. Now I'm just not remembering the name.
Watson IBM.
Watson IBM. Thank you, Elena. Is that, for example, I tried different AIs just to see which was the one that worked better for my dataset in every time. Because since they are different, that's the main point. You are giving your trust to an AI that does that work. And eventually, sometimes they do not do the right thing. For example, we saw beautiful two people kissing, and that is, of course, I don't know if it's a bias. We can call it a bias concept, or just something that maybe it's not broadly understood as beautiful, for example. So I guess that is the main difference.
Yes, for example, it can depend from the data set they use it for train the algorithm. And maybe they give an image of two kissing and they use the label beautiful to describe this scene. And so CLARIFAI will output all these label also for our images. But Elena, I am sending the link of our first spreadsheet we have used to as input in CLARIFAI, and you can try to use the same spreadsheet and you can export a CSV because now it's a XLS file, and try to drag and drop into the image tagging tool interface. Other questions? Or for Daniel, we can redo the Gephi part in which we add the images. Daniel, at what point are you on Gephi now? We can restart from there.
Okay, so I guess we will do it again, just to, since the last visualization was not exported by Gephi. So maybe we will try to make the images a little bit bigger, but not that much, in order not to make Gephi angry with us.
Okay, so reopen Gephi, open graph file and select our image network CLARIFAI. It was output of the table to net process. Select undirect as graph type and append to a new workspace or to an existing workspace is the same. We have to choose the Force Atlas to layout and run it and prevent the overlap of our nodes and stop it. Now we want to see the difference between the type of nodes we have, so the concept and the images. So in nodes, color palette, partition type, and we apply the colors. We can also work on the sides of our nodes. So we select nodes, sides, this is the icon near the color palette, ranking, and degree. And we can adjust min size and max size, for example, to 40 to 19. We have all the nodes overlapped, so we have to rerun Force Atlas 2, but before we can adjust the scaling option and bring it up to 40. Okay. We wait that the Gephi will end this process. And when it's finished, we can stop it. Now, this is the part useful for Daniel. So we have to add our images. To do this, we have to go to Data Laboratory, select the Nodes table, and add a new column. We have to use write image as title, and select string as type, and click OK. Now we want to copy the name of our images into our new column. And to do this, we have to select the fifth button on the bottom of the page from the left and copy data to label to image and click OK. Now we have our column filled. And we can go to preview to see our graph. To see our graph, we have always click on the bottom of our page, refresh, and refreshing it. Now we have to add our path to the folder in which we have all the images. So inside the preview setting windows, scroll down, and under the voice node images, we have an option called render nodes as images. We have to flag it and select the 3 dots near the image path option. And inside this overlay, we have to copy the path of our folder. For Mac users, we can do in this way. We enter inside our folder with the images, select one images, and get info with the right click. Copy the path and paste inside the preview setting image path. And click OK. And refresh it. We can see that our green nodes are replaced by images. And we can try to redo the same process of hiding the nodes under the images and display the labels of our concept. So first of all, we have to go to overview, and in the filters panel on the right of our screen, if you don't see it, you can select from Windows menu on the top of the page. Inside the filters panel, we choose attributes, partition, and drag and drop inside queries the type nodes. We want to select images and filter our network. In this way, inside the data laboratory, we have only the strings regarding the images. We can select all. No. We can select all. Okay. Right click, edit all nodes. And Gephi will open this panel called Edit. Inside this panel, we have an option called Label Visible. We have to unflag it because we want to see only the labels of the concept and not the name of the images, of our images. So unflag it, return to overview, and stop the filter. And refresh in preview. To show now our label in the preview setting windows, under the node labels voice, we have to flag show labels and flag proportional size. And refresh. Of course, we have to choose the Papyrus font. The next one, Papyrus. So after the Comic Sans, we can use the Papyrus. If I have it. Yeah. No. Okay. And refresh it. Okay. Now we can hide the color of the nodes both for the images, so the green nodes, okay, and the pink one, the nodes of the label. of the concept. To do this, we can return to Overview. In the Windows Appearance, select Nodes, Color, and transform the color of the concept to white, and also the color of images, and apply it. We can return to Preview and refresh our network. And we have also to bring down the border width of our nodes to 0, because now we can see that our nodes have a black stroke. And refresh it. Okay. Now we have only our images and our label. We can reduce the font size a little bit. Okay. And we can export our network or in PDF or in SVG if you want to modify it later in Illustrator. In this case, it's better to show the SVG because Gephi will maintain the layer of our graph separated. So all the images, all the text, and all the edges. And save it.
What can happen while doing network with images when you download a lot of images from the web is that Gephi won't render them because they are too heavy. If this happens to you, you can go to bulk resize. I sent the link in the chat, and upload all your images, and then bulk resize will resize the images, and Gephi will work better with all that assets of images. And always, I mean, in the networks, they don't need to be high resolution images, or Gephi won't work. That's the main reason why.